the first thing that we're going to talk about is to know what is your personal impact on others. And personal impact, do we know what's a personal impact? What does it mean? Maria?
No, I don't know.
It means like when you leave a place, what is the impression that you left behind you? You know, what is the impact that you left? What did your opinion change someone's mind? Were you able to influence someone to do something better? Or worse? I mean, not you as Maria, as a person. No, not you as Maria, as a person. Because some people can impact people on doing something negative. They push them to a corner, so they will have to act in a negative way. And this is what we don't want to be.
Right.
You know, because we always want to be, I'm one of these people that always want to go and get out and make sure that I left a good impression. You know, those kind of people that have, though I'm a D, but I still want to be liked. I mean, this is human nature. You know, we want people to like us. We need to always leave a positive impact. We need that when we leave that place, you know, people will always remember you smiling or adding a positive impact to work or to the place that you are. So that's what a personal impact is. So we need to first know what is it that we leave behind us when we leave a room or a meeting or a department or a customer. We need to think for a couple of minutes, what do we think we reflect? Remember, everything we do, the way we stand, the way we talk, our tone of voice, the way we I have an eye contact, leaves our impact on people. So we need to be aware of that. So the first thing to remember is, what is our personal impact? Because guess what? You don't get second chances. It's first impressions. Though first impressions is highly rated, overly rated, because really, after 12 years old, we don't get any first impressions anymore. Everything has been already in our mind. We saw everything somehow. So the first impressions that we see, when I see a person for the first time, I'm already influenced by what I have in my mind, or either what I see on TV, or I read on the newspaper. So it's not really a first impression, but we need to remember that when someone sees us for the first time, we need to leave a very good impression as a first impression. So there are 3 components on personal impact. And by the way, you have a workbook exactly that you are following. And it's on page 3. And I think they made a copy of the presentation also to take home. So if you want to, and I'm going exactly with the workbook, and the workbook matches the presentation, so you won't, so there will be no confusion. Okay, so we said that the first thing we need to ask ourselves, what is the impression that we think we leave on other people? You know, hopefully I'm not narcissistic, so I like to think that people would like what they hear, or would like what they see, or would like my attitude towards them as a person. You know, and I would like always to influence people towards the right way or the better way, and to leave a good impression. Because when I go from this world, I want people to remember me on being a good person, a credible person, a person that had integrity, a person that helped them whenever they needed help. And this is the impression that I need to leave behind me. Stephen Covey, that wrote a great book on leadership, it's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The second one is how you want people to remember you. If, like, imagine you know, someone is giving a eulogy after you died, and what do you want them to say? And take it from there backwards. If you want them to say good things about you, then you need to start thinking about what are you doing good so you make it better, and what you're doing not that good so you make it less. So this is what personal impact is. So it's 3 things. You have confidence, credibility, and competence. Confidence is knowing that whatever you do will make an impact on others in a positive way. Confidence is feeling that whatever you know or whatever you put in is good and is right. Of course, without being, you know, narcissistic, or without being like delusional. You know, we're talking about normal people, but it just the way you feel that you are confident in what you say. And when we are confident, it shows. It shows in the way we stand. You know, we stand tall. You know, we have our eye contact, indirect eye contact. We don't shy away from people. We don't slouch. You know, we have always our head held up high. It's the way we talk. You know, it's like you can tell by someone's talking if they're stuttering or if they are just speaking from the heart and they're speaking to make an impact. So this is the difference of being confident or not. It's believing in that you can change And when you start thinking that you can actually change things, your rate of success is a lot higher. Because once you believe, you can accomplish. And remember, it's always, that's what they say, what you put in the universe is what you get. If you put negative vibes in there, you're going to get good. Whatever you feel, you draw near. Remember that. So if you start thinking negative about something, the negative thing is going to happen. If you start thinking positive, the positive thing is going to happen. So that's confidence. Credibility. Credibility is what we build with others as trustworthy. And trustworthiness is different from culture to culture. So for example, here in the United States, we can trust someone after we see them how they act. If they keep their promises, if they achieve the things that they're going to say, or they just talk and don't do it. We know the expression they're all talk. They're all talk, meaning they have no credibility. I don't trust that they will ever do anything. And we don't want to become these people, no? We just want to be credible. I want people, when I say something, to know that I'm going to follow it up and I'm going to do it. And that's how I build credibility as a person, as a business person, as an employee, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter, as a significant other. So we need to remember all that. You know, it's our credibility. Other cultures, credibility comes with age. So it doesn't matter really what they have done or what they haven't done. So with age, the older they are, the more credible they are, because they consider they are wiser. So we see this in the Asian cultures, Hispanic cultures, even in the American Indian cultures. We see them, they give credibility to the older people or to the people that have authority. So like for instance, in the Middle East, if someone is the owner of a company, then he's credible. Either he's a good person or not a good person, they're still credible because they have that authority on saying yes or no, on hiring people and firing people, so they must be credible. You know, and that's part of a whole problem. So this is credibility, and that's why it's different from culture to culture. And then we have competence. And competence is the ability to do something in a proper way, or the right way. And how we do that is by our experience, and we add our experience, and if we don't know, we need to ask others. What do you think about this? How should I do it? Asking for help is one of the strength points that someone can have. In some cultures, again, they see that asking for help is a weakness. Or for instance, saying, oh, you know what, I did it wrong, I'm sorry, what should I do? You know, they see that as weakness. Like for instance, in Egypt, when people do something, if they are working, they really don't feel like they can go to the manager and tell him, you know, or tell her, you know what, I don't know what I did wrong, but I did something wrong, something is not right. Because they feel the minute they're going to do that, they're going to lose their face. And it's called saving face, meaning that people are going to look at them as like, you're just an ignorant or you're stupid or whatever, so they don't want to put themselves into that position where people look at them as not knowing what they do. So this is about competence or credibility. Exhibiting knowledge of your craft is part of your competence. And asking the relevant question, for example, if I'm doing a project and I'm doing a report, you know, if I'm going to ask, how do you add a sum on an Excel sheet, and I'm supposed to be in a supervisor position, that won't reflect a lot of competence, will it? You know, especially that if it's supposed to be one of your functions. And this is what I mean by asking relevant questions. Like if you are a leader, you come, you collect your team, and you start asking them for opinion, because two heads is better than one. And also when you include your team and making decisions, not only it increases their morale, but they get accountability in the decision, and you get their buy-in. They feel that they really count, that they have a voice, important, and that they count as human beings. And as human beings, we need to be counted in. We don't want to be alienated. We don't want to be like, oh, you don't count, or you don't matter, or it's just like you're not important just because you are just a team, or you're not a manager, or you're not a supervisor. And we see that happening a lot, unfortunately. And people do not realize how much it can affect not only their interpersonal relationship, but also the whole result for the company or for the employer they're working for. Okay? So I'll leave you for a second to think about your personal impact